Welcome to Around Town with Rotary. My name is Mike Harrington, member of the Beverly Rotary Club. The Beverly Rotary Club has over 100 members of men and women, many different backgrounds and jobs and histories, and it's a really interesting group. This monthly show is a chance for us to get together and share some of that information with you, meet some of these interesting Rotarians, hear about their careers, hear their personal stories. So welcome here today. I'd like to introduce my co-host, Al Temkin, and now we'll introduce today's special guest.
Thank you, Mike. Today we have Kyle Marsh with us. Kyle is a North Shore bank manager and has been in banking for several years. You'll see he's quite a character, I can tell you that for sure. Kyle is also a member of the Beverly Rotary Club and is right now currently a member of the board of directors. Welcome, Kyle.
Welcome.
Great to have you.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. I want to say thank you for inviting me to the show. I'm very excited to be here.
Well, it's our pleasure. We're happy that you're here. So let's start. We're going to talk about a bunch of different things today, but let's start getting to know you a little bit. So let's start with where you from, where you grew up, where you live now. Kind of give us an overview.
Sure. So I was born in Brockton, City of Champions.
Yeah.
I grew up with my mom and my sisters, and we moved around a lot. I lived in the South Shore for about 6 years, and then we moved up to the North Shore, and we were always bouncing around. But it really came down to my mom wanted to give us the best opportunity to be the best we can. So I currently live in Beverly, and I love Beverly. Lived in Salem a long time, but now I crossed that bridge. I don't plan on going back. So I'm happy to be here in Beverly.
And you're living in Beverly, you live by yourself, or?
So I live with my wife and my daughter. My wife, my daughter, my son, brand new. He's 5 months. My daughter's 3 years old, and and my wife, me and her have been together since high school. So we're high school sweethearts, which a lot of people don't know. But yeah.
I know.
That's wonderful.
I knew that you were high school sweethearts. You're up, Mike?
Yeah, hey, tell us a little bit about your educational background. Where'd you go to school? What did you study? What are some of the things you were thinking about early in your career before you get into your current career?
Sure. So I went to school at Northern Essex Community College, and I went for sign language. So my first job was working at a deaf nursing home. And I really fell in love with the culture, I fell in love with the people, and I felt I was a voice for them when they didn't have their voice. And they couldn't communicate with people who didn't speak their language. And it really gave me a role to help these people. And I went to Northern Essex Community College as an interpreter, undergrad interpreter for American Sign Language. I got my associate's degree in deaf studies. But while I was there, life kind of happened, and I ended up working other jobs, and I ended up in banking. I had an opportunity to go into banking. But yeah, my original goal was to be an interpreter, and I still would love to pursue it, but it's just something that if you can't give your full time to, it's something I don't wanna do if I can't fully do it. I've always been about if you're gonna do something, be the best at it, and if I felt I couldn't do that, I think I can be the best where I am now.
Well, great. Well, I appreciate that. So a lot of people kind of get into their careers almost by accident. So sometimes you meet a certain person along the way or a group of people, and it sounds like that was a good career choice for you.
Oh yes, it was. I met a lot of great people in banking, and it's a way that I get to still help people. Different way to help, but it's still a way that I get to help people, which is very important to me.
Super.
For sure. So tell us about that. So you, as I mentioned earlier, you're a branch manager at North Shore Bank. Mm-hmm. You've been with North Shore Bank for how long?
I've been with them for 6 years.
6 years now. Good for you. And you're already a branch manager. Good for you.
Originally with Beverly Bank.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. And as we know, North Shore Bank picked up Beverly Bank, right? Mm-hmm. Tell us about your work. So as a branch manager, tell us, what is somebody who doesn't know banking that well, Sure. What would you say your job is day to day?
So operations, it all starts with operations, which people don't realize. We're not just there counting money. It comes to balancing the branch, doing the audits, making sure we check people's accounts, always ensure it's fraud, all the things that happen. But I love my responsibilities is working with my team. I love that the most. I get to coach them, I get to teach them, I get to show them the ways that I've learned and came up and been successful. So anyone that's willing to learn, that's really a big portion that I love about my job. Excuse me. I also get to do business development, which I love, meeting new people. And really, someone once told me, a commercial lender that I work closely with, he said, I get to help people make their dreams come true. which really stuck with me. You know, that's a huge impact you have on people's lives when their finances, and people don't realize that. But they talk to their banker probably almost as much as they talk to their bartender or their therapist.
For sure.
You know,
Yeah.
so I know a lot about the people I deal with on a regular basis, and being able to impact their life in a positive way is great. Is great. I love that.
So my next question was going to be, what do you like most about what you do? It sounds like you almost kind of answered that by saying that you enjoy most helping people make their dreams come true through the lending process. Is that a fair statement?
It is, yeah. But even just the everyday customer, Al, it's excuse me, customers that have a business and they may be short on payroll this week, and I can push it through because I know they're going to bring more checks in. Simple things like that may be small for you and I is huge for them.
Sure.
You know, it really makes that difference. And being able to make those decisions at North Shore Bank is great. You know, at a bigger bank, I may not be able to do that, but at a smaller bank, a local community bank, I can make those decisions. And as long as it makes sense for the bank, I'm always going to be supported. So that's good. I love that.
Perfect.
Well, it's great. All of us devote so much time to our career. If there's something that gives us a little bit of bounce in our step in the morning when we get out of bed to go off and do our job, elements of it that we really enjoy. So I love the positive outlook you bring to your career. Folks at home, we're going to just take a momentary break here. We have a great video we'd like you to watch just for a couple of moments that'll tell you a little bit about the Beverly Rotary Club and some of our people and the activities that we support. We'll see you back in just one moment. Thank you.
We raise a lot of money for Beverly organizations.
And they bought us our refrigerated van.
They made a significant contribution to the restoration of Ellis Square.
They helped us house a family experiencing homelessness.
They bought us our bookmobile.
They were actually the first ones to donate instruments to the high school band.
They bought oxygen masks for our rescue dogs.
They helped buy our school bus.
They fund the annual Brad Gage Ice Cream Social at Lynch Park every summer, and they even scoop the ice cream.
Since 2014, they've supported the Cabot, funding preservation of this historic gem.
They helped to fund the Council on Aging van.
They were a major donor to our new infant toddler playground.
They bought an emergency generator for Harbor Lighthouse.
We funded and built the gazebo.
And we've got a green thumb.
A lot of green thumbs.
A lot of green thumbs.
Not to mention sculptures.
We planted more than 100 trees last year.
They donated a shuttle bus stop that brings veterans to the VA hospital in Bedford.
We're going to buy a water drone to clean plastics out of Beverly Harbor.
They make a big difference for United Way.
We give up to 8 scholarships.
8 scholarships every year since the mid-1980s.
And I was a recipient, and thanks to their help, I was the first in my family to go to college.
It's more than just a local organization.
There are 33,000 clubs
in 200 countries with 1.2 million members worldwide.
All that good adds up.
Those do-gooders just keep doing good.
We funded 13 wells in Kisumu, Kenya, bringing water to 13 schools.
We contributed to Kalusha School in Pakistan, and later to the construction of a fabulous women's college.
Hi, I'm Izzy Polito. I'm Mirabella Polito. I'm Andrea Polito. And we're all youth exchange students.
We started the youth exchange program 13 years ago, partly because I was also an exchange student in 1979.
I'm Aku. I'm from Finland. They hosted me as an exchange student.
We funded Dr. Gordon Sato of Hamilton, who devised a way to grow trees in salt water in Senegal, Mauritania, and Eritrea.
Our club has funded at least 20 life-changing surgeries around the world.
And we've participated as non-medical volunteers
in the Philippines,
in Bolivia,
and Venezuela.
And remember,
since launching the Polio Plus campaign over 30 years ago, the number of polio cases worldwide has dropped 99%.
In 2019, clubs in the district joined the Polar Plunge to eradicate polio. The clubs raised $90,000.
Can we get back to Beverly, please?
Over the past 10 years, we've raised, probably about $100,000. Try $400,000.
Over the past 10 years, we've raised over $1 million.
I have made some wonderful friends.
It's downright inspiring.
It's an important part of my week.
It's a very important part of my week.
Sometimes it's the best part of my week.
It's one of the best things I do.
Even if people still ask about the secret handshake.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Around Town with Rotary. We're here with our special guest, Kyle Marsh. Kyle, we were just starting to talk a little bit about your banking career. I think you mentioned to us off air that you were recruited maybe from another company, another industry. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Oh, yes, I'd love to. It's something I'm very proud of. I was working at the deaf nursing home where I was learning the sign language, and I fell in love with that, and I was going towards that career. But I met a good friend of mine. He's one of my best friends now, and he was working at CVS, and he brought me into CVS. I always typically worked 2 jobs. I had to help my mom a lot growing up. And when I was working there, I met a customer who came in often, and he really loved my personality and my willingness to help. And the first time he met me, he was looking for toothpaste. And I went through the aisle. I showed him the difference between the Sensodyne and the Colgate and the deals, and what would be helpful for him, and based on what he was looking for, and he loved it. And he came in multiple times after that. And one day he said, "Kyle, I'd love to talk to you about an opportunity I have for you." And I said, "Yeah, of course." And he said, "I'm a manager at TD Bank, and based on what I know about you now, I know you would do great." I was like, "But I've never been in banking. I don't know anything about banking." And he gave me the opportunities, and I think we can teach you banking. We can't teach you how to do the things you do naturally, which really got me thinking about it. And I went and applied for TD Bank, and I got the job as a teller. And that was back in 2014. And 2023 now, I'm a branch manager, and I've worked my way up. And it feels really good to get there. Putting in the hard work and seeing it pay off.
Yeah, that's terrific. It sounds like you got a good break along the way, and somebody took a liking to you and saw a good promise there. So good for you. Hey, let's talk a little bit about Rotary. This is the Beverly Rotary Club TV show, so we talk a lot about Rotary here. Al and I are always curious how people get exposed to Rotary. Some of us kind of come into Rotary almost by accident. Back in the day, I didn't know anything about Rotary, but I met a fellow who was a Rotarian. He invited me to a meeting, and one thing led to another. So it's always fun to hear how you were exposed to Rotary and what that initial experience was.
Yeah, definitely. So I was actually exposed. I was working at the bank, and a customer of mine was past President Mike Jones. And he wasn't the president at the time, but he was going to be the president. And we've done a lot of business together, and he really liked who I was. So we went out for lunch one day, and he told me about Rotary and what it was all about. It's service above self, how much they give back to the community, how much they're involved, and they try to make a difference in Beverly. And being a resident of Beverly, I've always wanted to give back and do as much as I could. So Rotary, I felt, was a great opportunity to do that. And he invited me to a meeting. He did pay for my first lunch, which I was very appreciative of. And he said, "Watch out for the food," but I love the food. I'm easy to please. But and I just met a lot of great people in the Rotary Club, and it allowed me to do a lot more in my community and give back.
Oh, good. Well, one thing obviously we do in Rotary is that we have a whole bunch of committees that are all set up to do different types of things. And I think what the club tries to do is really leverage everyone's unique abilities. Everybody has certain things they're really good at and they like to do. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that is a good chance for you to serve in a committee that might take advantage of those types of strengths. Maybe you can share with us what types of committees or activities here in the early stages are you involved in that are Rotary related?
Sure. So I was talking to Mike because he was kind of like my mentor through the whole process, and he told me, "Kyle, you really want to look at the book. You want to pick a committee that you can get involved with." And a committee that I really liked was the scholarship committee. I love the fact that they were willing to, invest in these young adults' education. That's a very big deal for me. I felt growing up, I didn't always see that, but if I had those, where could I have been? And it's just another way to give back. They work very hard. You get to read these applications that come in, and it's very eye-opening. How smart these kids are and how much they want to do. And if you can just take away a little bit of that financial burden, you can allow them to be successful in life.
Oh, good. So aside from serving on that scholarship committee, what other types of things have you discovered about Rotary that you really like? I mean, it's a commitment of time. Every Thursday we get together, we have lunch together.
Sure.
We go off and do events and committees together. But are there certain things you've discovered about Rotary that really you've really enjoyed?
It's really the people, Mike. I think I really love the people in Rotary, how much they're willing to give, how much of their time they dedicate to it, how much they care about where they live. I never know what a Rotary was before the Beverly Rotary Club, but just seeing that impact it has on the community. People know Beverly Rotary when you talk about it, and I say I'm a Rotarian. The respect, they can just tell that you give a lot back. And I'm very proud to call myself a Rotarian. But I think it was the people in Beverly, the club itself, the fun they have, but the work they do. It all ties back, and it's just a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's something bigger than just being yourself. You're
Right.
part of something bigger. So,
Right.
well, terrific.
For sure. So, Kyle, I'm gonna go a little bit off topic.
Sure.
So, you're a busy guy. You got a young and a beautiful family, because I've met your kids and your wife. You're a banker, a manager in a bank, leading people. You're a Rotarian, and we know that you'll end up being a leader in the Rotary Club as well. Let's take your life out 15 or 20 years. What do you want it to look like then?
From Rotary?
Nope.
In a Rotary sense?
Just your life.
Just my life?
You're doing a lot of things now, building this beautiful life, doing this thing. Where does it go? Why? What's the objective?
So I've always felt, Al, that my mission in life was to help people. As long as I'm helping people, I think I'll always be happy. I think I'll always be able to do more. I'm a big family guy. I love my family. Hopefully I'll be able to give my wife everything she wants and my kids everything they need and want. But being able to help people, that's something that really digs deep with me. I went to school to be an interpreter so I can help the deaf community. I'm in banking now. I get to help people with their finances. But I think 15 years from now, if I'm still doing the work that I get to do and I still get to give back and volunteer my time and help people, like I see a lot of other individuals around me, I think I'll be happy with that. I don't need anything more than just being able to have someone be like, Kyle really touched me and made a difference in my life. I talk to people, I have conversations that I feel like I've made an impact on people's lives, and they always say, Kyle, if I didn't meet you, I don't know where I would be. And that's always been something that's settled with me.
Very gratifying.
It is. It very much is.
The one thing, I've come to know you so well over the past few years, the one thing I will say, and I want the public to know this, is you're not a man who just talks about stuff. You're a man that gets it done. So that will happen to you well before 15 years from now, because you're doing it every single day. So I appreciate that. Let's talk a little bit about other organizations, other boards, other things that you're doing outside of Rotary.
Sure. So I was invited to be on the board for Beverly Fisher and Fuel. A lot of people don't know what that is, but it's an organization in Beverly that helps people in the event that they can't pay their rent or their fuel. It's typically what it was meant for, but utility bills, car payments, when they're just having a struggle. And the organization doesn't do any fundraising. They've built their portfolio up and been able to sustain it enough to support this community. So it's a great organization. It's a small organization, but they do very, very good things. So I'm happy to be a part of that. I am on as you said, the Beverly Rotary Club board, which I'm very excited to be a part of that, to be able to make some decisions that impact the people in our community, whether it be fundraising or anything along those lines that comes up. I'm happy to be a part of that. I am also one of the vice presidents for the NAACP, which I felt I've never dedicated enough time to learn more about my culture and my people, and this has given me the opportunity to do that, which is very important to me. Especially when I have young kids, they're going to grow up in this environment, in this society where, people do look at us differently because of this color of our skin, and I can have an impact in their lives in the future because of that. So I'm very excited to have that opportunity with that organization. And I'm also a part of the Beverly Main Streets Board as well. So that just impacts Beverly directly, which it's the community we live in. Our kids go to schools here. We work in this community. It's just, you always want to give back to where you live. That's how I've always grew up.
Well, you're a busy guy. You're giving back in so many different ways. Aside from the boards you sit on in Rotary and family, what other types of community events do you get involved in? Any other types of things we haven't touched on yet?
Community events, yeah. So I try to volunteer as much as I can. I have a lot of stuff going on, but I try to make time. I get my family involved when we can. So we do different walks. We do different walks with the NAACP that they have to build more awareness of the organization, to build memberships. We do Arts Fest. I volunteer for Arts Fest, being part of the Beverly Main Streets Club. The block party, when they need volunteers, I do that as well. The holiday parade, I know Al puts that on. It's a great event. We love walking in it, and people get to see you, and they see, you giving back your time. I also do Project Adventure. It's a nonprofit that I like a lot. They basically help kids who don't have that social awareness to build that team building. They do activities. They get them together out of their comfort zone, and I just love that. I love that stuff. I recently helped volunteer at a church, St. Thomas. We serve food for some people that were homeless or anyone that really needs it, in a sense, which is, you saw the appreciation of these people. You being there, you serving the food. You just feel like you're making a difference in people's lives. I love that stuff. And yeah, there's a lot more other things. I could keep going on and on and on. The gardening club for the Rotary, even the simple small things that you think is, it's small, but it makes a difference. It's just giving back, So I try to do as much as I can. Beverly Bootstraps, I know they have food drives. I always try to participate in the food drives. I know before I even joined Rotary years ago, I helped we stood outside a Market Basket, and we were collecting cans, and I was working with my buddy Kevin, who's down at the Beverly Bootstraps, and me and my wife were out there. We're taking pictures, we're talking to people, and bringing in food for the organization. So I try to do as much as I can. Those are just a couple that I get involved with.
Oh, wonderful. You're a really busy guy. And,
Sure.
I don't know where you find enough hours in the day to do all this stuff, but you're doing a super job.
Appreciate it.
Let's talk a little bit about the club and fundraising, and particularly the scholarship area you're involved in. And typically the Rotary Club will raise somewhere between $50,000 to $100,000 a year in a variety of ways, and they'll give it back to the community through different organizations and initiatives and things like that. The area that you're very much involved in, as you mentioned, is scholarships. Can you maybe share with some of the folks at home just a little more about our scholarship program, who gets the money, and how that whole selection process works and that type of stuff?
So it was my first year doing it. I did some scholarship stuff for the bank, but my first year with the Rotary Club, and they take in all the applications. They have to, they have to have the financial need, and also have the academic means as well. So it really makes the kids work for it, but you get a lot of great applications. And like I said, it's my first year doing it, so I'm still kind of learning, but we get the applications, we review them as a team, we pick our top students that we like. One thing I do love about it is that it's a significant amount of money that we do give and we do donate. So when you pick 4 or 5 kids, they're all getting a significant amount. It's not a couple $100, it's a couple $1,000. It's a lot of money, and it definitely makes a difference. But I love that's one of our biggest donations in the club is our scholarship award. But yeah.
Yeah, well, thanks for your help in that committee. That's a really important part of what we do. So.
Yeah, sure is. You're an inspiration to so many of the young people in our club and the young people, in the community, doing all the things that you do. So I take my hat off to you. So when you're not working and you're not volunteering, what's fun? What do you do for hobbies? What do you do?
So I just sit at home and watch TV. No, I'm just kidding.
I can say, pardon me for interrupting you, the one thing that you should not be doing is karaoke.
I love it.
That's true of a lot of us. So.
I love it, Al. You can just be anyone when you're up there singing.
Isn't that the truth, huh?
But yeah, they actually do have a local place, the Pickled Onion offers karaoke on Wednesday nights, so I try to do that when I can. But I love darts. Darts was a big hobby of mine that I never thought I'd like, or didn't even thought to play it, besides having a couple beers and throwing some darts at a board. But it's a competitive sport. They have tournaments, they have leagues I get involved with, and I love it. I'm a very competitive person. My mother always says, if you're going to do something, be the best at it, and that's the mindset I've always had. So I play darts. I also just picked up golf recently, which I love. A lot of my clients were asking me over the years to go play, and the worst thing you want to say is yes, and then not know how to hold the club. So
it's a good sport for banking. It's a good sport for a lot of things in some ways. So,
right.
Yeah. So I picked up golf, and those are like my 2 main hobbies right now, and then spending time with the family, of course. But yeah, golf and darts is my 2 go-tos.
Perfect. Now, you've talked a lot today about community and your involvement in the community and how important it is to you. Talk about a couple of things that are of most interest in the city of Beverly.
For
just community involvement, what
are some things you like about the city? What are some of the vibes and activities and things that you see around Beverly that you really?
So the first thing that that hit me in Beverly, and it wasn't necessarily an event or anything like that. It was just the amount of people that know each other, the camaraderie in Beverly, to feel like a actual community where, you know, people know you, Al, they know you, Mike. You know, that was very important to me. And when I saw that, I lived in Salem for a long time through my middle school and high school, and I didn't see that. You know, I didn't see that community involvement and where people didn't know people, and you know, they know where your kids go to school, and that was a very big impact for why I love Beverly as much as I do. The downtown area is great. There's always something going on. They get people involved. They bring people to the city, to build revenues, help the small businesses, see people grow. It's just a great city to live in, and I just haven't seen that anywhere else before. You know, so it's like my first exposure, maybe my first big boy job working at a bank, and I was able to meet and contact and connect with the community a little more. But Beverly isn't like any other city that I've ever been to, and you know, I just love it. I love being here.
Well, we're enjoying having you here. You've been
that's for
a
sure.
great new citizen of the city, and
that's for sure.
Thank goodness we have you.
Appreciate it.
So I want to just take a moment, Kyle, and thank you so much for joining us. You really have helped this process that Mike and I go through proceed in such a positive way. You're making such a dent in this community because a lot of people know you. I can tell you that for sure. And there's always something very positive when your name pops up. So thank you for joining us today, Mike. It's always a pleasure to work with you. And thank you for watching. The Beverly Rotary Club is a very active club in our community. We do a lot of wonderful things to help organizations, help people in need every single year. For more information, if you'd like to check us out, go to BeverlyRotaryClub.com and check out our club, check out our leadership. And if you have any questions, certainly get to us and we'll be happy to answer those for you. And with that, thank you so much again, Kyle, for joining us. Really appreciate it. Mike, again, pleasure. Signing off. Thank you for watching.